Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our session Property Talk Live. So today we are discussing a topic that can save property buyers from making extremely expensive mistakes. As many people, because many people dream of owning land or house, investing in real estate. But the truth is that the excitement often make buyers rush the process instead of asking the right questions because they rely on assumptions or verbal assurances. Because in real estate, assumptions can be very, very dangerous. It can be very, very dangerous because one wrong step can lead to legal issues, financial loss, or even losing the entire property entirely. So that's why smart investors approach property acquisition with knowledge and patience. So in this particular episode, I'll walk you through 10 questions that every buyer must ask before paying for any property at all. So whether you're buying a land, a potential house, or a property strictly for investment purpose, or if you are planning to buy a property anytime soon, this session could protect your investments and help you make smarter decisions. So the first question is who is the real owner of the property? That's what should come to your mind when you're buying a property. So who is the owner of the property that I'm about to get? So before paying for any property, the first and most critical question is to confirm the real owner of the property because many buyers unfortunately assume that the person showing them the property automatically has the authority to sell it. That is not always true. In many cases, the individual that is presenting the property may simply be an intermediary, an agent, someone who does not legally own the land. So you need to verify the owner. Or you need to know the true owner of the property. You should request to meet or talk to or speak to the owner of the property. Because as a buyer, you must request documentation that clearly identify the legal owner, and it may include starting documentation, identification of the seller, and in cases family authorization of the land that it belongs to a particular family. So if property belongs to a company, there should also be corporate documents verifying that this company has the authority to sell the assets. So verifying ownership protects you from fraudulent transaction. It ensures that the person that is collecting your money has the legal authority to transfer ownership to you. So my second question now here is what title does the property have? After you verify the owner of the title, then you should seek the title that the property has because that's the most one of the most important indicator of the legal status of the property. Because it provides that the land is recognized under law and that ownership can be transferred legitimately. So you're not doing anything illegal. You're not buying an illegal property. You're not paying for a property that belongs to someone else. You're not paying for a property that somebody has paid for and is not on the market. So you're going to ask for the document of property, maybe it's your own, it could be governor's consent, it could be deed of assignment, because all of these documents they play a very, very vital role in signifying the standing of that property. So when you're buying a property, you should not simply accept that a title exists. You must ask for the documents and ensure that that document can be verified through their appropriate um, government office or land registry. So you must understand that the title will help you to determine whether the property can be developed or resold or used as a secure investment in the future. So the third question that you should ask that should come to you is this property under government acquisition? That's like another critical question that every buyer should ask whether the land is under government acquisition in many areas or in that particular area, sorry, because in some areas government reserve land for infrastructure projects that they know that this land they're definitely going to use it for some projects, but they just keep it there. Those land are not meant to be sold to private individuals for government use. But unfortunately, some buyers unknowingly purchase that land due to the fact that their agent did not check or did not verify before buying the land. And once the land fall under government acquisition zone, what happens is that the government has the legal authority to reclaim that land, often without compensating the buyer, that's the person that paid for the property. You might not even receive compensation. So the government will just take their land back. So to avoid this risk, you must ensure that the property that you're buying, the survey is verified and is checked against government acquisition map. The steps, so because confirming that will help you confirm if the land is legally available for private ownership and development. You need to confirm whether that land belongs to you or not. So the first question is the survey plan authentic? That survey document that you're collecting, you need to confirm if is authentic or not, because it contains important technical details, including the coordinates that identify where the property sits on the map. Because of that, the authenticity of the survey map is extremely important, because in some cases there are fake and altered survey plans that people use to mislead buyers, and that can result in overlapping ownership claims where multiple buyers can believe that they own different parcels of land. That is one of the issues that makes some property be under be under some court case, because you need to verify your that survey document properly and ensure that what you're seeing on the paper actually matches what is on the government's map, in order not to cause issues in the future. So the fifth question that you should always ask yourself is that, are there any legal disputes on this property? Because legal dispute, like I said before, if you do not confirm the survey plan, you do not confirm um, if it is legal or not, and if it matches the location that is on the government's map, it could lead to overlapping um, ownership of that property, whereby different people will think that they own the same property, and that one might lead to conflict, whereby they have to take the case to court. And while that case is in court, nobody can claim ownership to that property. The property will be seized by the government, because they will need to do some investigations to confirm if that land was actually supposed to be sold or not. So because some property are usually involved in legal disputes, aside the confirming if the survey is authentic or not, some properties usually some properties are usually under disputes, such as family disagreements, or inheritance conflicts, or court cases between people. So these cases, you are not even allowed to claim that land. Then your money is there already. That's like, you have like so many risks attached. So these are the reasons why you should always ask for title documents, and not just ask. If you ask and they show it to you, you should do your due diligence by confirming if that document they gave you, that they said is the title document to that property that you want to buy. You need to confirm if it is actually true. You need to confirm if it's actually true. You need to confirm if that land you saw, the land you went to inspect, is actually the same land on that survey. And you also need to confirm if the land that you saw that is on that survey plan that was given to you is actually on the map, or that is on that same location in the government's map. That is, you can only confirm this when you take it to the land registry to confirm, take the survey or other title documents to the land registry to confirm if actually that location where that land is genuine, and if the land is not under any government jurisdiction. So, like I said, some properties are involved in family disagreements, inheritance conflicts, or court cases between multiple parties that are claiming ownership of the property. So, when a buyer unknowingly purchases property that is under dispute, they may inherit years of legal battle that delays development, or even prevents them from accessing the land entirely. Because there's no way you'll be allowed to develop or build a house on a land that is still under legal dispute. There's no way. Even the government will not agree. So what's the essence of buying a land that you cannot own, or that you cannot use for whatever it is that you want to use it for? Because once government does not approve that land for you to own, they do not give you the full ownership of that land, there's nothing you can do on it. So it's like you wasted your money, you wasted your time, and you wasted your effort. So asking about disputes is very, very important, but verification is even more important, because buyers should consider involving legal professionals who can conduct searches and confirm that the property is free from ongoing litigation. And that is where legal agents comes in. they are the ones that will do all of this on your research. Although you can make your own research, but when you are working with a certified professional, that is an agent that is certified, you can be rest assured that everything they are doing is with due diligence, because they are going to take the confirmation of that property. They are going to take it bit by bit. They are going to take it step by step to make sure that there is no issue anywhere, because they also do not want a stain on their name. So that's exactly why they have to like take it very, very serious, because they, as long as they are legal and they are certified, they have the knowledge, they have been trained, they have the knowledge and every skills needed to confirm for you that that land that you're buying comes with peace of mind, and you do not have any issue, and you will not be having any issue even after acquiring that land. So, okay, before I proceed, there's a question from one of our viewers before regarding this topic. So I'm going to also talk about it. So the question is he said, is it proper to ask the exact size of the property? That's not even supposed to be an issue, because you cannot, even if you want to buy a land anywhere, you already have in your mind the exact size of the land that you want to buy. And you know, okay, there's no, you cannot just like walk up to a real estate agent or a real estate company and tell them that, oh, I want to buy a land, oh, and they ask you what size. You'll be like, oh, I don't know, I just want to buy a land. That's not possible. You already have in mind, okay, this is my budget, this is the amount, this amount I can afford. Okay, this is the size of land that I want to purchase. It's something that you already know. But it's also okay when they present to you available lands that are available for acquisition. When they present to you, it's also okay for you to ask them for the exact size. And that's where this surveyor comes in. They survey the land, they measure it, they tell you the exact size of that land, so you know if it's within your budget or not before you go for further verification. And it's also very important, like I said, because understanding the true size of the property that you want to purchase is very, very essential, because in some transaction the buyer rely on the verbal description of the land size. When they tell them that, oh, this land is 1,000 square meter, they automatically believe that the land is 1,000 square meter, instead of trying to confirm if that land is actually 1,000 square meter or 1,000 and something square meter. You need to know the exact size of that land. But like I said, you already have it in mind that, okay, this is the size of the land that I want to buy. But also asking to verify is important, so that you know the exact size of the land that you want to purchase in case of future use, for further use, actually. So you won't be having any issues when you're trying to like verify the land or something. So you need to confirm the actual measurement of your land size. For example, if a standard plot of land maybe in some areas maybe like 500 to 600 square meter, in some areas it could be, when you're looking at such land, it could be the same thing when you're staring at it, but it might actually be like the figures might be different. In some areas, that same land, they might measure it for 500 square meter. And then when you go somewhere else, the same land, the same size that you're seeing, and when you measure it again, it might actually be like 550 square meter. So that's when confirming the actual size of that land that you're buying comes in. You need to know the exact size of the land. You need to know if it's more than what you were told or more than what you're seeing. And confirming this exact size of your land is actually for documentation purpose. It's for documentation purpose in case you want to resell or anything at all. So that's when confirmation comes in. And it also depends on the location and development plan, because before completing a purchase, like I said, you should confirm the size on the survey plan, and if possible, physically measure the land by yourself, know the exact size, and ensure that you are receiving the full value of what you're paying for. And because it will help you for future development planning. Because actually, like I said, in some cases, it might be higher than, they might tell you it's 500 square meter, might be higher than 500 square meter. And also in some cases, it might actually be lesser than 500 square meter, because they might tell you that, okay, this thing is 500 square meter. But when you measure it by yourself, or you call your surveyor to come and measure it for you, you might be seeing something like 480 square meter, 490 square meter, and they'll tell you that it's the same size. So that's when That's when it's very, very important for you to confirm if that land that you're buying is actually the same size that you were told, the same size that you saw. If and if that is actually the same size that is on the survey plan also. So moving on, the another question that you should always ask is what development are happening in the area, that's that vicinity where you're buying that land. What are the developments happening there right now? Because the surrounding environment of the property significantly influences its value. Whether that place is going to be developed very soon or not will determine the value of that land that you're buying in a few years' time. To determine the population expansion, the growth, the value, and everything. Because before buying any property, it's important to observe the surroundings, the surrounding environment, and then consider future development prospects. Like look for indicators like road construction, commercial centers, schools, transportation routes, and government projects. So all of these are they are indicators that will determine if that land that you're purchasing in a few years will actually increase in value or stay the same. And if it's actually going to increase in value, it will also determine how much the land will appreciate in the future. Because areas that have strong development potential, they areas that have strong development potential in real estate, they are the ones that usually have like significant increase in price and value over time. Because you might buy a land in how do you might buy a land in two different places in Lagos, two different areas in Lagos, and you'll be shocked that those two land that you bought, they do not have the same value. What I mean is that you might buy a land in two different locations for the same amount now, and then in like 5 years' time, you might be surprised to see that those land that you bought at the same price, of course, they are of the same size and they are of the same price. By the time you go back to them, to those two land, you might discover that one is actually more valuable than the other. Why? Because of the development, the ongoing developments in the area of that land. And that's why it's very, very important that you make your research and then you check very well before you buy that land that you want to buy. You need to check if truly it's going to appreciate or not. You need to know if government has projects, ongoing projects at that place or not before you can go ahead to pay for the land. Just hold on. So, like I said, areas with strong development potential, they tend to experience faster property appreciation and higher rental demand over time. So, the next question that should come to your mind is that are there hidden costs involved in acquiring this land? Because many property buyers only focus on the advertised purchase price. I'm not saying the amount you saw from the ad is not genuine or not. I'm actually telling you because if you see that you do not know when that ad was published. You do not know when they published that ad. It's not like it's an ad. It will not show dates and time. And you do not know when they published the ad because at the time they published that ad for that property, the property might actually be like 10 million naira. And then by the time you are seeing that property, your what you hear is that the property is 10 million naira, you should come and get it now. Blah, blah. And then when you go back to ask for them for the price, they tell you that it has increased. And you might have this in your mind that, oh, maybe these people want to scam me, or maybe these people just want to take my money, or maybe you might have doubts in your mind. But in reality, what happened was that when you saw the ad, the price that you saw there has actually changed, because that's another thing about increase in value of the property. With each day, each hour that passes, there's always there's up like with each hour that passes. In fact, every day, the value of the land will always appreciate. If you are getting a land for 10 million naira today, by tomorrow morning, I'm saying by tomorrow morning because time right now is 11:16 a.m. So by this time tomorrow morning, that same land that you heard that is 10 million naira might actually be 20 million naira by tomorrow. Yes, that's very true. Because you're not the only one out there, you're not the only one that wants to secure wealth or that wants to secure great return on investments in property that you're buying. Even the owners of the land, they also want to sell that land for more money so that they can make much more than what they invested also. So as you're making your research, they're also doing theirs. They're also finding out if there are other ongoing projects around that vicinity. And then when they find out that okay, that place is going to be a like a hot cake soon, they will have no choice than to increase the value of that property. And then when they told you today now that okay, the property is 10 million naira and you hesitated, you'll be like, okay, I'll pay tomorrow. By the time you go there tomorrow, you find out that that property has actually increased. If I tell you it's no longer 10 million naira, it's now 20 million naira. Because sometimes in reality, total cost of acquiring a property involves several additional expenses, like I said. Because there's no way ongoing development will be like there's no way development will be ongoing, sorry, on in that area. And even the original owners of that property that you want to buy will not have some expenses or some things that they pay for. So those are one of the things that they take into consideration also before adding money to that land. Because there's no way you see a property in Lagos and it definitely belongs to someone. And once that land belongs to someone, it means that there are dues, there are charges, there are money, there are fees that they pay yearly to maintain that property. And those charges that they pay also also depends on the surroundings, the environment of that property. It depends on the constructions that are going, the development in that area, that vicinity. So those are the things that they think. Sorry, those are the things that they take into consideration rather before increasing the price of that property. And some of these fees might include the legal fee of property, um, the survey costs, the documentation charges, the development levies, and sometimes infrastructure contribution required by that estate where the land is situated. So, understanding the full cost structure before committing to the purchase will help you as a buyer avoid unexpected financial pressure and also ensure proper budgeting for that land that you're about to invest in. So another question that should come to your mind is what is the payment structure for that property? Payment structure is another important factor that you need to be very cleared on before you buy any property because some developers might offer flexible installments plan that will allow you to spread your payment over several months or even years. And at the same time, other transactions might require full payment upfront, require you to pay the entire money upfront. So you need to understand the payment structure of that investment so that you can evaluate if it aligns with your financial capacity or not. And a well-structured payment plan can make property ownership more accessible. Of course, it will reduce the financial stress that is associated with paying at once. You get so you need to like calm down and then ask them of the payment structure of that property that you want to buy. If the if because some properties actually, especially off plan projects, those ones are the ones that usually comes with payments plan because most and sometimes fully constructed properties that they've already finished the building before you like go there to purchase it, they might not allow most of them will not allow instrumental payments. What they want is the full payment. You pay in full and then you acquire the property. But if you want a property that's in a very good property that that is within your financial capacity and will not you won't be getting financial pressure from, you need to go with off-plan projects because those ones they are starting from the scratch and you're not buying after they spent their money on that property. Your money is like an investment to them because your money is part of what they use in building that property also. So off-plan projects will give you the option to, some of them might say you pay 10%, but it's mostly from 25% upward. You pay 25%. Then the rest you can spread it for as long as that project is going to be completed. because the payment structure also determine on the completion time of the project. If they have in mind, that's the owner, the developers have in mind to complete that project within 12 months, you know that your payment plan will only be within 12 months. If it's within 2 years, you know your payment plan is within 24 months. If it's within 3 years, you know your payment plan is going to be like that. So, and that will also determine the percentage of the deposit they are going to require from you. It will determine the percentage of the initial deposit they will ask you to make. Do you get? So the longer the completion time of a off-plan project, the more flexible the payments plan is for you, because you do not have to rush to pay. You are paying in bits. Imagine if you want to purchase a property, an off-plan project of um let's say 10 million naira, and they are requesting for 25% deposit, and that actual project is actually going to be completed within the space of 24 months, or okay, let's say within the space of 24 months. And now they're requesting for 25% initial deposit. So you do the math, 25% of 10 million naira, you know you're paying like 2.5 million naira upfront. You see how easy that is, even though you already have the money, but because the project is off plan, that will give you the opportunity to even like focus on other things, and then you have enough time to make more money. And then by the time you are done paying for the money, you won't even feel it that, oh, I just acquired the property. Like you know that you acquired the property, but the pressure is not there. It comes with ease. So when you pay like for the upfront, and you paid for like 2.5 million naira upfront, you have like 7.5 million naira left to pay. Then you can spread that within 12 months or 24 months, depends on time, the completion time of that project. You divide the 7.5 million naira by maybe 12 months, 24 months, or 36 months, depending on when that project is going to be completed. So you see that instrumental plan comes with peace of mind, and that's why it's very, very advisable, especially if you're whether you're a first time investor or not. It's much more advisable to go for offline projects. Of course, after verifying the everything that you need to know about the project, after like doing your due diligence, knowing the authorized developer, to see if they are licensed and they are certified, you of course request for title documents. Even if you are getting an off-plan property, you are also entitled to get documents for that property. So you request for them, and then you go and verify. You make proper verification, look at the surroundings and everything before you pay. So regardless of that at all, it is still going to be very, very easy for you to get. And that's why it's very, very advisable, like I said, to go for offline project, because you have enough time. You're not putting all your money directly, because there's no, even if you pay for like you're paying every month, right? So if by chance there's an issue with that property tomorrow, you're safe, because you did not put your total money in the property. Because of course every loss is a loss, even the little that you added in it also is also a loss. But it's still like very, very, because you know that you've not put your entire savings on it. You still have some payment, like you've only added a little bit to that property. And of course, such issues, when there's an issue with off-plan properties and then people have invested and everything, there are clauses in the agreements between the investors and the owner of the property, the constructors, on um breach of contract or issues arising while the construction is ongoing. You will find out all about that in the documents. If you request, you do your due diligence and then you request for it, you find out how you can be compensated and other compensation that follows. You see that in the documents. So moving, I guess that I get that you I hope that you understand everything that I just explained now. So the last um question, not like the last thing that you should know, of course there are other ones, but the last question that it should come to your mind, that is very, very important for you to know if you want to acquire any properties, if the developer or the person selling that property to you is credible. Like I said before, if you're going to purchase a property or buy land a sale property, if you're going to purchase a property, you need to go with verified agents that are certified. And just because they are certified does not mean that they are credible. Even some certified agents that are not honest will still commit fraud. Do you get? So you yourself, you need to do your findings about that person that is going into that business with you, the person that is bringing that land, that is pushing that land to you. You need to confirm if that person is actually credible or not. Because the credibility of a seller or a developer plays a huge role in the safety of a property transaction. And that's why you as a buyer should investigate the reputation of that developer and investigate their track record of the developer or the seller, the individual or the company that is offering that property to you. You should ask other people, because if except that this is someone that just like venture into real estate, but you know that if even if there's someone that just venture into real estate, they must have worked somewhere before. They must have done something under someone before. So you need to verify their credibility. You need to verify, okay, if this person that's selling this land to you is real or not. You need to verify their track record, the amount of successful transaction they've concluded, to verify if they are honest, and to verify their reputation in general. You need to know if you can trust them to handle that transaction for you, because important factor that you should look out for when you're trying to verify them, it includes their previous project, like I said, their client reviews, people that they've attended to. Actually, you need to ask from them if those people were honest, true and true, the transaction with them. You need to verify if they like did not add extra charges or charges that they're not supposed to charge. They're not supposed to add to the price of the property. You need to confirm that. And of course, you need to check the location of their office, their business structure, where their physical office is located. You need to verify that also, because developers, of course, they are developers. They definitely have a physical place where they stay that is registered. So you need to confirm if that location is real or not. Every doubt that you have when you're trying to purchase a property is valid, because sometimes you may be doing some self-check that, oh, maybe I'm the one that's just overreacting, or maybe I'm just thinking too much. No, that questions that come to your mind is something you actually need to jot down and then work on it to ensure that you're putting your money in a very safe place and you're not taking a risk. Because when you work with credible professionals, it will reduce the risk of fraud, and it will ensure that the property transaction is handled responsibly from the beginning to the end, that's from the start to the finish. So these things, I hope you guys are jotting down the questions that I told you to note, because this will make sure that, sorry, this will help you know that you're like 75% safe from being scammed. So as we all know, real estate is the most powerful ways these days to build long-term wealth. But of course, it must be approached with proper knowledge, due diligence, and of course, you asking the right question before you buy that property, in order to secure your investment and then prevent costly mistake. So, if you are planning to buy land or invest in a property soon, you should take your time to verify the documents, confirm ownership, and then seek professional guidance where necessary. Because if you're an investor that is very smart, you know that you're not supposed to rush the process. You need to make decisions that are informed. So I hope that these few questions that I talked about today has opened your eyes to some of the things that you should know before you decide to buy a property. So thank you very much for joining this episode of Property Talk Live. If you found this discussion very, very helpful, please share it to someone that is planning to buy a property, and then follow us for more real estate insights. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Property Talk Live, please subscribe, like, share, follow, and then send this to every other person that you know that I want to invest in real estate. So thank you very much for joining us today. See you same time next Thursday. Bye.